Los Alamitos in Cypress, California is the home of your Kentucky Derby and Preakness champion California Chrome. We will take you there in mere minutes to see his final work before the Breeders' Cup Classic. We'll also go to New York to see that horse, Tonalist, who conquered California Chrome and the Belmont, his final preparation before the Classic. And then there's all kinds of chaos going on at Santa Anita with major works for all the divisions to 13 Breeders' Cup races fast approaching over 2 days in Southern California. Welcome to the TVG studios in Los Angeles for America's Horse Racing Network, TVG. I'm Todd Schrupp. TVG originated the works way back in 2000 before the Kentucky Derby. Think about this. It was 3 years before MySpace existed. There was no social network out there. We live in a much different world now, and helping us monitor the social media world is Brittany Urton, now part of our works team. Welcome, Brittany.
Hey, Todd, thank you. I'm so excited today. All morning, I will be monitoring our social media feeds in regard to our public work of the day. Now, we're going to be focusing on Golden Sense, your defending champion in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Now, to get involved with this, make sure you use the hashtag TVGWorks.
And I feel like I'm part of a judging panel of a talent contest. Simon Bray alongside former jockey Donna Barton Brothers and current trainer Tom Amoss, who's going to have a runner in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. We're going to be reviewing all the works and giving them letter grades throughout the show.
We know who the curmudgeon-y judge is, Tom Amoss. The Works, presented by Remington Park, starts right now. The biggest work of the day is going to happen in mere minutes. This is a live look to Cypress, California, Los Alamitos Racecourse. We are waiting for California Chrome to arrive on the racetrack with his final workout before the Breeders' Cup Classic. When it happens, you will watch it live here on TVG. Earlier this morning on the East Coast, Tonalist came out onto the main track at Belmont Park. Yes, the horse that conquered California Chrome in the Belmont and then had a huge win last time out in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. This is Tonalist working 6 furlongs.
To become the 10th three-year-old to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. And look at the time in the top right-hand corner of the screen. That's what you want to pay attention to. 1:14.2 for the 6 furlong work. Looking at Tonalist, the one thing that really stands out to me, guys, is how well he looks and how well he's holding his flesh.
He does. He's kept his weight throughout the year. This is our Belmont Stakes winning champion, 3-year-old, as you mentioned, Simon. He's not doing a lot here in the work. He's just stretching his legs. That's the kind of horse he is, Donna. He's a horse that makes his run late, and he's built for endurance. This 1.25-mile Breeders' Cup Classic is right up his alley.
Yeah, this is not a flashy work, and it's not intended to be a flashy work. You can see the exercise rider, Lee Vickers, just now starts to ask him a little bit through the stretch. You know, I ended up giving the work a B- just because right here I would have liked to have seen Tonalist really grabbing a hold of the bridle and taking him, and I didn't see that, but this was just a little blowout before he gets on the plane.
Well, the best part of this work is going to be after the finish line. Tonalist is going to gallop out and work throughout almost all the way around the turn, Simon, to make what looks like a half-mile work actually a 6 furlong work.
Exactly, and that's what we're talking about, the final time, 1:14.2. He works like he races. He's not a horse that's going to quicken. He just lengthens his stride. B- for you, Donna, did you say?
B- for me.
Tom?
Give him a B. He did nothing wrong.
I'm going to give him a B as well. Tonalist, 6 furlongs in 1:14.2.
Shared Belief is expected to be the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Why not? He's 7 for 7. He's got a charismatic owner. He's charismatic in his own right. We take a look at Shared Belief back on October 21st. Now, keep in mind, this is over the Tapeta surface up at Golden Gate, 6 furlongs, Russell Bays aboard.
Same time as Tonalist, but a very different work. It's good to put these back-to-back to compare the times and the way different horses work. Russell Bays aboard. He's up at Golden Gate over the Tapeta surface because he's had quarter crack and feet issues. And right here, guys, I mean, he's working in company. There are 2 horses in front of him. That's his target. He does that each and every work because he's lazy without a target to run down.
Yeah, he keeps him up at Golden Gate. Jerry Hollendorfer's wife, Janet Hollendorfer, is actually his assistant trainer, and he said she's tremendous with the feet, so that's why he keeps him there. As you said, you can't see the workmates yet. At the quarter pole, you'll finally see that he's actually going to come through on the inside, and they really set this work up so that he could come through and, you know, get a little bit of that Tapeta surface, kind of like dirt, in his face, and finish really strongly.
When you watch Shared Belief work, you never would believe this horse is 7 for 7, undefeated, has made $1.5 million. He's a small horse. He's encouraged a little bit here through Donna to go between horses, finishes up well on his own. I like what he does. He's small, ordinary looking, but his heart is one of a lion.
Looks are deceiving, Tom. Take a look in the mirror. Shared Belief, very easy winner, of his last start, but a very nice workout here. Grades, Tom, we'll start with you.
He did nothing wrong. Give him a B.
Donna?
I gave him an A. Like he said, he's never a flashy horse. I think this is what Jerry wanted.
A from me. Everything good here for Shared Belief, Todd.
Shared Belief has been perfect to this point. Will he remain perfect after Saturday, November 1st in the Breeders' Cup Classic, the highlight to the 13 Breeders' Cup races, 13 Grade 1 races in 2 days. Incredible. You've also noticed a theme here. The 3-year-olds are grabbing the spotlight in the Breeders' Cup Classic. But when you look at the pre-entries, there are some older horses with great credentials that certainly deserve some consideration. And as you look at the pre-entries, amongst those horses, Cigar Street, a horse on the comeback who definitely could step up for the older horses in here. Moreno, who won the Whitney. Yes, his last couple races have been subpar, but we know he's capable. And if it's a very fast main track at Santa Anita, this is a horse that could definitely fit back with this group and get back to winning form. Brittany Earton has more on our public work of the day.
You know, as much as we want to hear what our analysts have to say and they have insightful information, we want to know what you have to say and what you think of Golden Sense work today. Our public work of the day will be the defending champion of the Dirt Mile, Golden Sense. Now, to get involved, you can go to our YouTube, which would be TVG Network, or we're going to show it live on the show here today. So we want to get your analysis of it and a letter grade, but for us to show it on air, we need you to say hashtag TVG Works. It's the only way that I can search for it. So we want to hear what you have to say. Again, you can see it on our YouTube channel. We're going to show it on air here today. We want to know what you have to think.
Golden Sense, your defending champ, as B-Town mentioned, and the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile was out yesterday at Santa Anita, going 5 furlongs with Rafael Bejarano aboard.
This is a phenomenal work to me. I mean, I'd be very, very happy if I were the connections at Golden Sense. He won the Dirt Mile last year. I mean, look at Rafael Bejarano. He's just sitting against Golden Sense. In my analogy, he's taken his foot off the brake pedal rather than hitting the accelerator the whole way through this work. An outstanding work. And real quick, guys, I think to me, when you look at a work and you think it's much faster than it actually is, the time turns out to be much faster than it actually is, I think that's a very, very good sign of a good work.
Couple of things here. First of all, the saddle towel, you'll notice, has a number on it, Simon and Donna. The closer we get to the Breeders' Cup, now these horses are going to have to wear their saddle towel when they're here at Santa Anita. That number is going to correspond to who the horse is, in this case, Golden Sense. He's wearing that red shadow roll over his nose to keep his head down. He comes to the wire full of horses, ears forward, waiting for a command. This is what we saw Golden Sense work like last year as we led into the Breeders' Cup. I give him a B. I give him a B because he did everything right.
I beg to differ. I think last year he was an A+, at least he was in my book, and this year he was an A.
I give him an A+ here. I thought it was a good work, just because I was shocked when I looked up and saw the final time at 59-2. I thought he worked slower watching it visually. Impressive workout from Golden Sense.
There were 42 workouts yesterday at Santa Anita, going 5 furlongs. Golden Sense ranked 4th with his time of 59-2, attempting to defend his title in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. At Los Alamitos, a crowd has been gathered to wait for California Chrome to come out on the racetrack, and they're pleased to see him now. You are going to watch his work live here on The Works on TVG. And California Chrome, his last work at Los Alamitos was just a week ago, October 18th, 6 furlongs. Victor Espinosa was aboard on this day, and he was out by himself.
This is the way he works all summer, leading up to the Kentucky Derby down at Los Al. He always works by himself. We saw him live. Look at him here last week. Very, very similar, breaking off with the pony there. Victor usually gets him to go to the pole very kindly, always works with the blinkers on, and he's a flashy workhorse. I mean, he looks good doing it.
I would say the big difference between what we've seen from California Chrome since he took the break and in between that and the Pennsylvania Derby is he doesn't get as hot in this work as he had been getting for some of those works leading up to the Pennsylvania Derby. So I feel like he's come out of the race maybe better than he went into the race, or at least more like Art Sherman would like to see him, Tom.
Donna makes a good point, and I think what corresponds to that is when California Chrome, when I saw him last leading into the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, he was a horse that took a little time to warm up on the racetrack, and he did warm up, always. But what I saw in this work, as well as in the live warm-up we just saw, is a horse that's looser, feeling better, and moving across the track better. So I think California Chrome has a chance off this one race back to really step up. speaking specifically of this work, you'll notice that Victor has him off the rail in this work. You'll see that as he turns for home. And sometimes that is something you would hold against a horse. But in the case of California Chrome, this is simply trying to relax him. The more you put a horse on the rail, the more aggressive they're going to be in a work. For California Chrome, the design here was to go easy and good. It'll be interesting to see when we watch him live today whether or not California Chrome goes against the rail or if he stays out off the rail as he does here.
And you can see no other horses on the track there. He went out when it was very, very quiet. I don't know whether track management helped with that decision, but yeah, the idea to get him to relax, and he's moving perfectly. He's checking all the boxes, switched his leads right around the turns there, and Victor Espinoza doing absolutely nothing during the workout, but just guiding him across the wire there. Very nice work. Letter grades, Tom?
Gave him a B. He did nothing wrong.
I gave him an A because he did nothing wrong.
B, A, and I'll give him a B+. I'm going to split the difference between you guys.
That was 1 week ago today. California Chrome 6 furlongs and 112-1. Now let's take a look down to Los Alamitos as he's preparing to break off for his work. Mike Joyce is standing by. Mike, what's the game plan for California Chrome this morning?
The game plan is to work 5/8 according to trainer Art Sherman, and they're going to gallop out 6 furlongs. So we're looking for a 5/8 final time and then a gallop out of 6 furlongs, guys.
What do you guys make of that game plan on our set as we watch it live, California Chrome?
I like the game plan. I like the 5/8 work, and let's see him break off. He's doing exactly what he did in last week's work. He's well off the rail here. Looks like a carbon copy so far.
He does. I'd say maybe a shade more eager leaving the pole, but looks exactly as he should. Looks very identical to the last work. Look, California Chrome has had his race back from his layoff. He doesn't need a lot. A lot of these works we're going to watch, Simon and Donna, as you both well know, are designed to keep a horse's temperament in check. Not too high, not too low. Therefore, I think that's the kind of work we'll see here.
And you have to remember, this horse, as you pointed out, works on a track with no other horses on it. So a lot of times horses will break away from the pony and they'll be aggressive because they want to catch a horse that's in front of them. This horse broke away from the pony wanting to do something. As you can see, Tom mentioned earlier, Victor Espinoza keeping him well off the rail because maybe he wants to do a little bit more than Victor wants. I love everything I see in this work right now.
So do I. Let's watch him come to the wire here, Simon. This is the most critical part of the work, the last eighth of a mile. The ears are forward. Look at the hands of the rider, Victor Espinoza. They're perfectly still. California Chrome is not being asked at all to run. And when you look at those ears kind of moving a little bit back and forth, that's him saying to his rider, come on, when are you going to let me go? Well, the answer is he's not.
Yeah, tension in the reins. You could see he was holding on to him. I thought a better work, and he's actually quickening up around the turn there as we watch this live. Very impressive work. Mike, what's the final time?
So the final time for the 5/8 is 59-3. He went 24-1, 48 flat, 59-3, and that was timed on the teletimer by clocker Russ Hudak, and then they hand timed the gallop out of 6 furlongs in 1:12.
Okay, so let's follow up with the time. You've watched the work, now we heard the time. What do you think when you add the two together?
I mean, I really like the work a lot, but here's the deal with my grading system. I'm going to give a B to horses that do everything as they should. If they're horses I liked on paper and want to use in my betting, that's not going to dissuade me at all. Anything less than a B is going to be a situation where I'm not using that horse anymore in my betting. An A is when a horse does something that's so outstanding to me, that's a horse that I'm going to key on in a specific race. We haven't seen that quite yet, but California Chrome does things very, very well today.
I don't grade quite as strictly as Tom does. I give him an A if I think that's exactly what the trainer wanted. I give him an A+ if it looks like they did it easier, as you mentioned, than the time would indicate. I gave this grade an A+ because I thought that's what the trainer wanted, and he went even faster than it looked like he was going.
I'm with you, Donna. I don't know what school you went to, Tom, but when I answer all the questions, I get an A. I don't need to keep answering other questions that aren't on the paper. So I'm going to give Golden Sense an A because that work was perfect.
I was that tough teacher you had in high school that you really didn't like, but he made you work harder, and when it was all over, you were glad you had him.
All right. Tom, give me a lesson here.
I want to stay on Donna's point about how quick the work was, because the work we saw a week earlier, 6 furlongs completed in 1:12-1, that was the goal. We heard the gallop out today, 6 furlongs was in 1:12. If the gallop out was 1:12 faster than a week ago when they're trying to go 6 furlongs, wasn't this a much quicker work by that standard?
I think so, and it visually looked quicker the last part there. I mean, when he crossed the wire, I mean, he looked a little more aggressive. The reins there was a little more slackness in the reins as he approached the wire last week. So, yeah, I think it's a better work for that reason.
And as Tom pointed out, with his ears doing this, he looked like he was like, come on, tell me when I can go.
And it's a more legitimate time, Todd, because you're talking about a horse that went faster earlier in the work this time around, at least visually he did. He was more aggressive. So if that's the case, for him to finish up well off of more legitimate splits early in the work, that's a very good work.
And bottom line, Todd, he's improved from last work to this work. That's what you want to see. Yeah,
because, again, big disappointment in the Pennsylvania Derby, but the workouts indicate California Chrome could be up to the form that we saw him during the spring. Let's move to one of his challengers in the Breeders' Cup Classic, Moreno, who won the Whitney over the summer at Saratoga. Moreno was out on the track yesterday, and Moreno preparing for the Breeders' Cup Classic, working at Santa Anita, going 6 furlongs, and in this case, Tyler Bays was aboard working in company.
Yeah, that's him in front. His stablemate is in behind here, trying to replicate his running style during the afternoon. He's a front runner, as many are in this Breeders' Cup Classic, so he's getting a stablemate to push him. Tyler Bays is aboard. All well and good here. Tyler's, the horse is aggressive, but you'll see as the work progresses, I think the work gets less impressive from Moreno.
Yeah, so Moreno on the inside there, he feels the presence of his workmate. He may not be head-and-head with him, but he certainly feels the presence of him, even with the blinkers on. What I don't like about Moreno's work is he gets lost when he loses his stablemate. And when he gets lost, he slows down considerably, and that, to me, is an issue. Now, it may be that that's a mental thing. He wants the competition to make him keep going, but whether that's the case or not the case, the bottom line is he doesn't finish up well here, and that's a problem. For me, Donna, I give this work a D, which I guess means that my friend Eric Guillot is going to have a voodoo doll of me outside his barn after today.
Well, Eric Guillot says that this horse is a little bit of a lazy horse, which is why he lost interest once he lost his workmate. But he's had a long, hard campaign this summer. He comes into the toughest race he's going to run in all year, and I needed to see more than this to have confidence in him.
He's coming to a walk here.
This is nothing but a fast gallop here, and the rider has urged him. You'll see a couple of taps with the stick on the outside rein there, on the outside shoulder. Moreno is a front-running type of horse. He's going to have to do a lot more than what we saw in this work to be a contender.
Bottom line is here, I don't think the company helped him out much. He was only present for about a furlong and a half in the workout. He needed the company the whole way through the workout.
If he could have had that, we may have seen a different work. Remember, as we've said a lot of times on this show, we're looking at a little slice of a horse's training, albeit a work, but we don't know a lot of what goes into each of these works. And I'm with you. If they were out to get a good work here, that workmate need to keep him busy. Moreno gets lost mentally in this work.
Which is why I gave him a B-, because I felt like it wasn't his fault that he lost his workmate. I didn't like the work, though.
I gave him a C. So mixed emotions here about Moreno.
Moreno, most like a long shot in the Breeders' Cup Classic. No doubt who the favorite will be. That will be Shared Belief, maybe one of the shortest favorites of the 2 days of the Breeders' Cup. But at TVG, we have a promotion that can get you more than the odds that the rest of everyone else will be playing Shared Belief on. When we come back, we'll tell you how to do exactly that.
Shared Belief going to just keep his unbeaten record. Yes, he has. Shared Belief, 7 for 7.
Welcome back to The Works, Breeders' Cup 2014, presented by Remington Park. I'm Todd Schrupp, and well, the biggest name over the 2 days at the Breeders' Cup, without a doubt, is Shared Belief in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Most likely because of that, will be one of your shorter-priced favorites over the 2 days, unless you're playing with TVG. You can boost your odds at tvg.com on Shared Belief. This is how you do it. Your first bet on your mobile device up to $20 is eligible, and look at that. 5-2 guaranteed advanced wagering. You're not going to get 5-2 on track that day. You're not getting 5-2 anywhere else. You can only get it through TVG, and that's through our mobile applications. Find out all the details at tvg.com. So the biggest question is, 1 week from today, will Shared Belief win the Breeders' Cup Classic? Simon, Donna, Tom, what do you think?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, history says 3-year-olds have a good record in this race. They've won it 9 times, the Breeders' Cup Classic, but 10 of the last 12 years have been won by older horses. You have to go back to 2007, Curlin, 2008, Ravens Pass on the synthetic surface. What do you guys think of Shared Belief?
Well, look, I think Shared Belief is a special horse, a special 3-year-old. 7 for 7 lifetime, made over $1.5 million. He's already competed on the Santa Anita surface, and he won by a neck. And he did it being tag teamed by a couple of horses. They really challenged him and his running style by going after him in different parts of the race. He still was able to survive that. To me, Shared Belief, a special horse, certainly a big chance to win. Is he the one that I'm going to bet on? I'm a value guy. I don't know that Shared Belief offers that.
Well, and I also think this year's different in that in past years you didn't see all the older horse defections you're seeing this year. So Palace Malice out, Game Undue, out. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's my lucky day. You know, you can just name one after the other. So it really is going to be more of a 3-year-old competition this year than it has been in years past. And so far, he's been the best 3-year-old, but he hasn't faced California Chrome yet. And if California Chrome's on his game, we'll have to see.
Mike Smith, usually understated, ridden a lot of champions, most successful jockey in Breeders' Cup history, said this is one of the best horses he's ever sat on. Bear in mind he had Zenyatta as well. I think that really speaks to Shared Belief's talents because Mike, as you know, Donna, he's not going to go out and say something like that unless he truly believes it.
Yeah, absolutely. He loves his horses, but he doesn't normally talk them up if he doesn't really believe in that horse.
So I think we all think he's got a shot, right? At least a decent shot here. He's going to be the favorite, though. Trading about 7-4 on Betfair in England, Todd.
Well, Tom, if you're looking for value on Shared Belief, you'll find it through the mobile platform at tvg.com. Again, 5-2. Check out all the details there. Here are the pre-entries for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. The Sprint each and every year appears to be wide open, although last year it was the post-time favorite who won, Secret Circle. Now, how about this for interesting work? Secret Circle was out on the track with his stablemate October 20th at Santa Anita, and both of them, Indianapolis and Secret Circle, working 6 furlongs out of the gate.
I don't think I've ever seen this in my lifetime. 2 legitimate horses working out of the gate for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. It's like a prep race. On the inside, Indianapolis, he's going to be wearing those blinkers. He's worn blinkers in all 3 starts. He's undefeated, a young horse. On the outside, Secret Circle, last year's defending champion. Now, Bob Baffert said because of this work and this work alone, that's why Indianapolis is going in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, because he's heads up with last year's champion. But I've never seen a work like this before.
So if you're trying to get a line on the talent of a horse and how they're doing coming into a race, there's no better way to do it than working alongside a very quality opponent, as we're seeing with these 2 horses, and going from the gate. That is the most you can simulate a race. Why is Bob Baffert doing that? Both these horses are coming off long layoffs and have had only 1 start back, so they are playing catch-up to get ready for the Breeders' Cup. Indianapolis has a race in September. Before that, not since January. Secret Circle, on the other hand, 1 race since February on October the 4th.
Not only
watch
that,
these 2 horses come to the wire, Donna, and it's hard to separate which one's doing better.
Not only that, Indianapolis is lightly raced. He's only had 3 starts in his life. He is 3 for 3. So maybe he's pressing at this point, but these horses look like they're ready.
They certainly do. And you remember, Secret Circle came into the Breeders' Cup Sprint with only 1 race last year off a long, long layoff. So it's a recipe that's worked for Bob Baffert. And like we said, that work alone puts Indianapolis as a key contender in the Sprint. Letter grades for these 2.
B for me.
I gave both of them an A.
I gave both of them an A as well. 1:10-2 the final time.
And out of the 16 horses working the distance, they tied for the fastest time of 6 furlongs in 1:10-2, Secret Circle and Indianapolis. This morning at Santa Anita, Rich Tapestry, who shipped in to take the Santa Anita Sprint Championship last time out on the main track in Arcadia, California.
Yeah, we're watching this for the first time. This is an interesting horse. He's undefeated on the dirt. You don't see it in his past performances. He had 2 wins on conventional dirt in Hong Kong. He won the local prep here. Now he's working, we talked about blinkers on Indianapolis. These are goggles here. So it's like a visor, it's a mesh over the eyes there, just to alleviate the kickback from other horses he's probably not used to. You see how he gets aggressive when other horses come upsides him, and he's just getting a lead around the racetrack. He's following a horse for a little direction.
Yeah, this horse's last race here at Santa Anita could not have been more impressive. It was his first start in the United States. As you mentioned, you have to go way back on his form to see that he is 3 for 3 lifetime on dirt. But I love the way he's moving over this racetrack, and I love the way he's wanting to get past the horse that's right in front of him.
Donna, Simon, this is the pride of Hong Kong, Rich Tapestry, and if he wins the Breeders' Cup, which he has a definite possibility of doing, he'd be the pride of the world, perhaps. But he is coming past his workmate there. He's being asked left-handed. You can see him getting stuck. He ends up going between horses. Nothing wrong with that. That'll show a little bit of experience and good. Went well.
Joaquin Jaime on site at Santa Anita. What's the final time, Joaquin?
Broke off 26-1 for the quarter, 38-1 for 3 furlongs, 5 furlongs, 101 flat.
You like that final time when you look at the work?
I'm very satisfied with it. I think, Donna, he was mildly asked, but certainly asked with the stick on the inside.
Yeah, asked, but also because he was having to go past a horse who was right there in his eyesight. But I love the work. I give it an A.
I wanted to see that work in particular because, you know, he had that huge effort last time out Santa Anita, and that was his first race since April. So we're always looking for horses to maybe regress off that big effort. It's only a month since then, but by all accounts, what we saw here, he looks great.
We have a large crew on hand at Santa Anita helping out with getting the information for the workouts, but we do want to mention Don Harris, who's our official TVG clocker in the mornings out there, who helped Joaquin Jaime out with those fractions and those times. We'll have the inside of Don Harris on every work show. Let's stay within the Breeders' Cup Sprint division and talk about Big Mocker, which kind of translates for my people, Big Doer. He was not much of a doer last time out in the Pat O'Brien, but he is the winner of the Bing Crosby, and this is a look on October 19th at Santa Anita. Big Mocker going 5 furlongs with Tyler Bays aboard and working in company.
I love this work. This is a horse you could have bought or claimed for $30,000 a couple of years ago. He's doing everything right, follows his lead, angles out down the stretch, and blows by his competition.
He does. He looks good doing it, too. Not being asked in this work at all, Donna. Goes right by his workmate. And if you look at his action, it's not a criticism, it's just what it is. It's a higher kind of action than you're used to seeing. That's why he wears the shadow roll. We saw it on Golden Sense as well. Both those horses tend to have that same kind of action. A very good work, maybe a sleeper.
And one of my favorite things about that work is when Tyler Bays stood up on him at the wire, he jumped into the bridle another step. So I love everything about it.
We talked about seeing Rich Tapestry coming back off a quick turnaround. I wanted to see this horse off a poor performance last time out. Nothing looks wrong here. Letter grades real quick, Tom.
I gave him a B.
A+.
I gave him an A as well. So consensus selection in the 58-3 final time for Big Mocker.
Back on October 19th, 67 horses worked that distance of 5 furlongs. Big Mocker was the fastest. This is this morning for Big Mocker at Santa Anita.
Okay, looks like Tyler Bays aboard again. Again, we're watching this for the first time, so I can't quite see if there's company there, but he breaks off, and it looks very similar to what we saw last week.
Yeah, he's eager in this work. I mean, he's against the bridle, and if he doesn't have company, he's just showing his readiness to compete, because this work, he is really getting after it pretty good through the 3/8 pole. We're about halfway around the turn here, Donna. How does he look to you?
Well, and you can see Tyler Bays is standing up in the irons. He's got him well off the fence. As you said, Tom, he's eager, and Tyler's trying to get him to relax and just easy, easy, easy. Don't do too much too soon.
Yeah, I think when you come out with a big work like he did last week, we saw last week's work 58-3 in company. Today we gear it back a little bit, don't you think? Take the company away, work him off the rail, maintenance work. The major work has been done.
I'm not sure this work's going to be any slower. To me, he's still aggressive, wanting to do it, tying up a horse as he comes to the wire, full of run. All
right, let's find out what the final time is then, Tom. Joaquin?
Big Mocker going solo this morning. Started off 24 for the quarter, 47-3 for 4 furlongs. Galloped out 5/8, 101-2.
So it was a little slower without the company, and probably
the gallop out for sure.
Yeah, the gallop out. Yeah, but a half in 47. You guys happy with that?
Absolutely.
Same.
Does everything right. B.
B, Donna?
Yeah, I thought it was a good work. A.
Yeah, I give them the same. A+. So Big Mocker back-to-back, very good works, Brittany.
Well, we heard what you guys had to say earlier about the public work of the day, which would be from your defending champion in the dirt mile, Golden Sense. There was an A+, an A, and a B. Now, let's hear what you guys have to say. Starry Day 93 says, I would say a solid A. He was on the bridle, eager without being aggressive and going easier than the time indicated. All right, so we see some similarities there. I Am Root says, Golden Sense is a lock in the Breeders' Cup dirt mile. Classy drill. Rider was steady, finished strong. B+. Okay, looking like people are liking his work here. Gets an A+, wow, because running all alone is great prep for the caliber of competition he'll see in the dirt mile. Those are fighting words right there. Copalope says, A, right to the top, and he won't stop. Will probably be a major single on majority of tickets. I would assume so, being the defending champion there. And lastly, we have Kevin Sully TV, who says, looked like a shiny penny for what looked like an A- work. So thank you so much for all of your input there. Again, if you want to check out Golden Sense work, because we'll be reading more tweets later on today, you can go to our YouTube, which is TVG Network. Check out his work, give us a letter grade, give us your analysis, and you must include hashtag TVGWorks, or we won't be able to see it. Coming up, we've got a Championship Friday. It's the Breeders' Cup Handicappers Preview. For Thursday, we'll be previewing the Friday's races. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And we've also got Championship Saturday. We're going to have another Breeders' Cup Handicappers Preview for you on Friday, showcasing all of those great races coming up on Saturday. It starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time.
TVG could not put on the works without the support of our sponsors, and we'd like to thank Castleton Lions, standing Gio Ponte, winner of 3 Eclipse Awards, 7 Grade 1s. Gio Ponte is the $6 million horse.
welcome back to the Works on TVG. As Todd mentioned earlier, social media is just taking over right now, so make sure to like us on Facebook, TVG Network, and follow us on Twitter at TVG, and use our hashtag TVGWorks to get involved with our public work of the day.
And the ladies will take over on Friday for the Breeders' Cup, with the highlight to that card being the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Let's take a look at the pre-entries. Outstanding field gathered here with outstanding 3-year-old filly, Untappable, taking on Elders. And here, Rhea Antonia is back. You'll recall last year she moved up via disqualification in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Now she's back as a 3-year-old filly against older horses. Don't Tell Sophia took the Grade 1 Juddmonte Spinster last time out. We're going to look at Don't Tell Sophia working at Keeneland on Friday, going a half mile with Joe Rocco Jr. up.
Yeah, she works on her own here, and she's had a tremendous year, bar from one effort at Oaklawn Park in the Azeri, Donna, and you can speak more to that.
Yeah, this is a filly who's won 4 of her 5 last races. And the one race where she got beat, and that was behind closed hatches, she was only beaten a length and 3/4, was the only race in the last 5 starts that she was wearing a bar shoe. That was over a wet, fast track. So this here looked like a nice maintenance move. I don't think they were looking for her to go fast. I liked everything I saw about this work, Tom.
You know, the rider shakes her up a little bit right there, Donna, down the stretch, and then he grabs her again, and she responds. Don't Tell Sophia finishes up well in this work. The beginning of the work, kind of easy. That's her style. She comes from behind. But I think she's coming to the wire full of horse here. I like what I see. The hands are very still. Ears are waiting for a command. Don't Tell Sophia, Spinster champion. This race, she'd be very competitive.
The only time the rider asked her, I think, was to get the lead change at the top of the stretch. And when she did, she quickened up. And
yeah, she kicked.
Yeah, she kicked on. 11 for 22 lifetime letter grades. Donna.
A.
B here.
B+ for me. 48 flat for the 4 furlongs.
Remarkable purchase price at a Keeneland sale, and on the precipice of a big moment in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Don't Tell Sophia working on Friday at Keeneland. On October 19th, Untappable, who took the cotillion last time out, and if not for taking on the boys and the Haskell, would have a great win streak going against fillies, 5 races in a row against fillies. Untappable was out working at Santa Anita 5 furlongs with Carlos Rosas aboard.
Yeah, it's a filly that's got very aggressive leaving the pole there. She's got her head up high. The rider's trying to get us to settle. And I don't believe she's wearing rings like most of Steve Asmussen's do during the workout, but that would certainly help a filly like this, or unless she's got them on there, I can't quite see.
Well, I got to watch this filly train all winter in New Orleans, and she is very difficult to gallop at all times. And she was running her best race in the spring. So I don't criticize how tough she was, how aggressive she was, or how she was throwing her head away from the pole. The work itself, very, very nice in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think he needed to get something in her. It's been 6 weeks in between races, or it will be. And you can see Carlos throughout the work, he must look at his watch like 10 times, because even he can't believe how easily she's going this fast.
Yeah, that's what I noticed on the workout. I timed this work when I watched it on my start watch. She went 24 and change. The last 3/8 in 34 and change. Final time 58.
So is he looking at his watch to get the time right, or if he gets it wrong, he knows it's a penalty of death when he gets back to the barn?
He's going to get yelled at.
Right.
And she wasn't wearing rings, that equipment that attaches from the reins
A+
to the
for
girth. A+ for Donna.
Give it a B.
B, I'm going to give it a B+.
Simon Bray carrying a stopwatch. That does not happen. Rolex only. Let's move on to the next horse in the distaff, Tis Midnight. Tis Midnight was second in the Zenyatta. Beholder didn't make it to this race, but probably would have been the favorite. So Tis Midnight finishing second to her could lead to a lot of interest in Tis Midnight. This is October 19th, 6 furlongs at Santa Anita. Martine Garcia aboard.
Yeah, she jumped up with a big performance last time out, kind of out of nowhere, from Allowance Company into Grade 1 Company. And here, she just breaks off, lackadaisical, very different to the filly that we just saw, who's aggressive leaving the pole.
Yeah, these are 2 works that, to me, are on opposite ends of the spectrum. And I'm not sure why he works her without company, because she looks like maybe she would benefit from company, but Baffert knows when to put him with company and when not to. I just really didn't like anything about this work, Tom.
Yeah, so, I mean, she doesn't work like a speed horse, guys. Speed horses are very aggressive from the pole. It takes Tis Midnight a little while to get into the work. And when she does, that lasts maybe around the turn. Simon, when you watch this filly down the lane, you're going to notice that she's not doing much anymore. She tends to fall apart. A very, very disappointing work, in my opinion.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this is a filly who's never been worse than first or second in the first call of the race. So typically has more speed in the afternoon.
I mean, visually, even to the untrained eye, you can see her work is backward. She's going slower the last part than she is the first part. Martine Garcia flagging her with the whip here, and she's coming to a walk. I don't know what the reason for not working her in company is. Maybe she just gets too aggressive and overdoes it. But, yeah, lackluster work here. Final time, 1:12 and 2. Letter grades?
I gave it a D, as in dog.
I gave it a D as in
No, I don't want you to get confused with the B. You know?
How about the D as in ditto?
Ditto. I'm going with a C. I'll give it a C. 112 to C minus. Okay, let's take a look. Tis Midnight worked this morning. Now let's compare works, guys, and let's see. No Martin Garcia, and we've now got an exercise rider aboard going the same distance, 6 furlongs, and it looks like we're going to break off and do the same thing here.
Well, I think she's more aggressive this time around, what I would typically expect to see from a speed horse here. But I think you're going to see the same thing down the lane as we saw last time. She's just not finishing. And I do want to point something out. I was not saying D to refer to this filly as a dog. She's anything but a dog. I wish I had one this good. I just wanted to let you know that that was the letter grade. Sometimes my southern accent, you can confuse D with B.
And as you can see, she has those rings on that you'd mentioned earlier you would have liked to have seen on Untappable. But this is a filly who I think right now we're still just seeing her in the gallop.
Yeah, this is a gallop.
So let's point something out. We have seen the work.
Yeah.
And so we anticipate seeing what we saw this morning. But right now we're watching her gallop. I do like the way she's galloping, and she looks good in the flesh to boot.
Yeah, she does. Much more aggressive. Gallops a different pace. You can see she's got the exercise rider on, but this is not a workout. This is clearly a gallop, but she's moving well and looks well.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, she's carrying a lot of flesh. She looks great from that standpoint.
That's a filly that's more into it than what we saw in that work. She's much more into it.
37 minutes into our first work show, and Tom Amoss has issued his first apology. Well, he's up next at Keeneland. Tom Amoss, Rhea Antonia, you're preparing her for the distaff. What did you want to see yesterday at Keeneland?
Well, I think it's only fair that Bob Baffert grades this work since I graded his last work. But look, this is a half-mile work from Rhea Antonia. At Keeneland, as you say, Todd, look at the rider and look at his hands. I mean, that position is never going to change on Rhea Antonia throughout the work. We've watched a number of works from Keeneland in years past, and it can be confusing. Keeneland, sometimes the works look slower than they actually are. Donna, this is a very good work in my opinion.
This is a bullet work too, the best of 42 at the distance. It looked to me like she wanted to do more than the rider was letting her do. 47-3, Tom, is that the time you were looking for?
It is now.
Tom, what about the blinkers? They've been off, they've been on, they've been off. You're like the third trainer that's had them, they were off. You put them on last time, improved performance. Yeah. Is that why she works in them now?
Well, she works in them now, and the idea is we think Rhea Antonio likes to run against the bridle. We noticed that in the spinster.
See that
and we're trying to keep it hard against her mouth. She likes that challenge from the rider.
Okay, final time 47-3. Tom, how would you grade your own horse?
I gave her a B. She did nothing wrong.
Also, by the way, she was out in just over a minute, which I thought was a nice out time. I gave her an A because she did nothing wrong.
Thank you, Donna.
I gave her a B, as in boy, Tom. Boy.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, as Tom will tell you, the key to being a good trainer is having great owners, and he's been blessed with a lot of great owners. And when it comes to Rhea Antonia, we're talking about Luch Racing. That's Mr. P, Ron Palucci, and he has a very special offer, a once-in-a-lifetime offer for you to get to the Breeders' Cup.
Hi, this is Ron Palucci with Luch Racing, proud sponsor of the 2014 TVG Breeders' Cups Works. We're looking to pay it forward for all the success we've had in racing by giving 2 people an all-expense-paid trip to the Breeders' Cup this year. Air, hotel, come sit with us on Friday and Saturday. You get to go to the paddock with us for the distaff, see all the great trainers, all the great riders. Hopefully after the distaff, you'll get to go to the winner's circle and watch Rhea Antonia after she wins. Please send us an email at luchracingstable@gmail.com and let us know why we should choose you to watch Rhea win the distaff.
Again, this is being put on by Luch Racing. We thank Mr. P for his support of our show, and now he gives you a great chance. I think Tom Amoss should enter. He could upgrade from the TVG hotel that he's currently staying at in this contest. Luch Racing Breeders' Cup giveaway. Again, you see the email there, and you want to participate and have a chance. That's this year. He wants to host you this year. Get involved. Let's get back into our discussion here on the Works Breeders' Cup 2014 and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. If not for the Classic looming at the end of the day on Saturday, this is a stacked race with matchup after matchup that so many people are looking forward to. Carpe Diem, Daredevil, American Pharaoh. That trio alone makes this race. And let's start with American Pharoah, smashing performances in the Grade 1 Del Mar Futurity and last time out in the Grade 1 Front Runner. American Pharoah working October 20th at Santa Anita, going 5 furlongs. Martin Garcia aboard it. And this is kind of odd. Does work with a horse, but breaks out in front of that workman.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of this with Bob Baffert's horses. He has a lot of front runners. We've seen Bayern, or we'll see Bayern a little later on. American Pharoah, they're trying to simulate what they do in the afternoon. American Pharoah has basically never been headed by a horse in his 2 victories. He likes to get to the front and improve his position. They're simulating this in the work. And believe me, this is a very talented horse who's putting up a very good workout here.
Yeah, I love the way he has his ears pricked around the turn like that. But you know, here's an interesting thing. You mentioned the front runner. Bob Baffert has won the front runner 7 times. In fact, since it was the Norfolk back in before 2012. But he's yet to parlay 1 front runner win into a win in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, a race that he's also won 3 times, but never with a front runner win horse.
Well, he might do it here, Donna. This is a great work. Look how easy this horse is coming to the wire, and look how strong that stride is. Ears forward, waiting for a command. Maybe one little mental mistake past the wire here, you guys. As they're galloping out and making the second turn, he kind of doesn't want to shift over to his left lead. They have to make him do it. He gets out right through here, and he makes him shift over. But I think it's more mental than anything else. American Pharoah, for the first time in the works we've shown today, in my opinion, that's an A.
Absolutely, that's an A. That's, I mean, I hate to use cliches, but poetry in motion. I mean, to watch that horse move, very, very fluid. I mean, if you're just watching him on looks, outstanding.
Yeah, and Tom, as you mentioned, going into that second turn, that's a typical 2-year-old move. I give that work an A also. Great work.
One of the big 3 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Todd. American Pharoah looking good. That's one of the best juveniles we've seen in quite some years, I think, coming up this weekend.
Completely agree. Witnessed his triumphs in person, and he is awesome. There were 42 horses who worked the distance of 5 furlongs that day at Santa Anita. American Pharoah had the fastest time. Well, if you follow California racing here on TVG, you know it pays to own a Calbred. As the California Thoroughbred Breeding Association can tell you, and with TVG, we can tell you we've got all the information you need to win at the Breeders' Cup with our Breeders' Cup Toolkit, exclusive handicapping products, top stars bios, TVG's pro picks, Timeform US selections, and more. Go to TVG.com. Again, for TVG account holders, exclusive, the Breeders' Cup Toolkit. For the California Thoroughbred Breeders Association, they'll show you each and every day it pays to own a Calbred. And when we come back here on The Works, we'll talk about the biggest Calbred star over the 2 days of the Breeders' Cup. It's the one and only California Chrome. A crowning win, Concern, in the 1994 Breeders' Cup Classic, and he prepped at Remington Park earlier that year. Welcome back to the Works Breeders' Cup 2014 here on TVG, presented by Remington Park. And it's never too early to start thinking about what your horse could do next year in some of the big races. The Springboard Mile is a great opportunity at Remington Park coming up Sunday, December 14th, with a $250,000 purse. The Works, presented by Remington Park. More on our public work of the day with Brittany Urton.
Thanks, Todd. Yes, we did hear a little bit from you guys earlier. We've heard from our analysts. It seems to be a consensus anywhere in between the A+ to B range for Golden Sense work yesterday. So let's see what the rest of you are saying and if it's along the same page here. Christina Zurich says, I'd give Golden Sense an A+. Wasn't asked for anything. He galloped out perfect, just what he needs to tighten the screws. No changes there. Coach Kevin C. says, A-. Classic California move proves nothing. Biz, Fedbiz, and Vickers in Trouble push Golden Sense, and Rosie cleans up when he drifts again. All right, interesting. Next we have Go-Go Fan 1. My letter grade for Golden Scent's work is a C. I personally feel that Pants on Fire will win the Breeders' Cup Mile. All right, we appreciate that. We want to get some little argumentative action going in here. Rogue Clown says, Golden Scent looks strong and fluid, and he remained notably focused on the task at hand. A. And our final tweet here today would be, can you give grade A++, smiley face? We are very happy and ready to defend our title. Now, WC Racing, if you don't know, are the owners of Golden Scent, and they are very excited about their chances going into the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. They may be a little biased with the A++ grade there. So make sure we will have another public work of the day tomorrow, so make sure to keep tuned into that and use the hashtag TVGWorks, or else I won't be able to find it, and I won't be able to show it here on TVG. Now, I know, as you can see here, I'm using my iPad app here, and all of you should be doing the same thing. We have an iPhone and an iPad app that has just been fantastic, so make sure to use that. TVG iPhone betting app, now with even more features, so make sure, if you haven't checked it out lately, to re-download and update it. Live video, results, free handicapping, and we also have the iPad. So for all of you Apple users out there, evolve your game with TVG. This is America's first fully integrated horse racing betting app for the iPad. It's fast, it's easy, it's complete with live video, handicapping information, race alerts, TVG picks. What more could you want?
You've given me everything I need, Brittany. Outstanding. Brittany, I'm sure you've been in one of those conversations before where someone starts it out with all due respect. You know what's coming next. It's a criticism. So we decided to have our own little segment here on The Works, Breeders' Cup 2014, called With All Due Respect. Each of our analysts on the show is going to get a chance once a day with all due respect. Simon, you're up first.
It's easy, really, going first and having Tom Amoss on the couch, right? Tom, with all due respect, I understand you've been grading these works.
I'm just glad it's you and not me.
And you're looking at these works, but seriously, when you start criticizing Shed Belief because his looks, like I said, looks aren't deceiving. I told you, look in the mirror, and what I'm going to do for you, with all due respect, just take a look at this. This is for you, Tom. With all due respect, look in the mirror. Looks are deceiving. You
Can I bring that back to the hotel room?
You certainly can. Take a look.
Thank you so much,
So next time
Simon.
you look in the mirror, I want you to paste that on your bathroom mirror and take a look at that.
He has no response. That's what I love. Absolutely shut him down. With all due respect, someone will have another chance tomorrow on the show. Will it be Donna? Will it be Tom? We'll probably give Tom the last word on our final show, but we still have more to come here on the Works Breeders' Cup 2014, made possible by the support of Star Guitar. Star Guitar's first foals have arrived. The all-time Louisiana-bred money earner. His babies are absolutely gorgeous. Earlier today, you watched it live on TVG, your Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner, California Chrome, with his final workout before the Breeders' Cup Classic. The goal was a timed work in 5 furlongs and then galloping out 6. That final time for the 5 furlongs, 59-3, but just as impressive was the gallop out here. 6 furlongs completed in 1:12. The consensus on the set here on the Works is that California Chrome is ready to give his best effort in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He got a B grade, which is good from our entire panel. California Chrome, you watched it live from Los Alamitos here on TVG. Let's bring our panel back in to talk about the grades assigned on the show. Really a lot of positive energy from you guys about many of the works that we saw, with the exception of one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think that's unexpected. We're dealing with animals at the highest level of the game here. So when we look at our report cards on the screen here, we're going to see a lot of A's and B's and B pluses because good horses work well. Sometimes I think more importantly is seeing horses that don't, in our eyes, work so well. And that's the case with maybe Marina and maybe Tiz Midnight. Who, by the way, I must make a correction. We spoke about her workout, which was correct, but then we showed video of her galloping. That was an error. That was not her. We made a mistake there. We rolled the wrong tape. That was Majestic Harbor, so our correction.
Very good. Well, we're looking at these works today. You're going to see a lot of good horses, as you said, work well. I want to point out, a B means I liked everything about the work, and that horse is in my business and on my tickets. But an A is a horse that I'm really circling the wagons around and using to center my bets.
Do you ever give an A+?
Well, I guess I could.
So my A+ means I'm really circling my wagons around that particular horse. But you know, this is what you expect to see from these kind of horses. We're really surprised ourselves when we give one a C or a D.
Exactly. I gave Golden Sense an A+. I thought that was an outstanding work, along with American Pharaoh as well. So more grades as we turn the page. Big Marker was another one that was a consensus selection that worked well.
So we haven't seen Conquest Eclipse, Donna, but I noticed that both of us really like that work. That is for the juvenile fillies, Mark Cassie's filly, and I thought that was a superb work. That's a horse that I'm going to use in the juvenile fillies and kind of get my bets around.
Yeah, this is a filly who worked very, very easily, a half mile and 49-1. We haven't seen it yet, but we will see it here.
Yeah, I thought it was nice maintenance work. Nothing spectacular, but did everything right. Let's take another look at Tone List from earlier this morning. Again, when you look at this work, you don't really think, for the first time, we all watched it in our newsroom here this morning, and we didn't think this horse had worked 1:14 and 2, 3/4. It was hard to believe, but the more we look at it, we realize they probably galloped out a little bit as well. But as we've said, Donna, this is a horse that's not, I don't think, going to be that flashy in the morning. He's not a type of horse that quickens. He just lengthens his stride. He does that in the afternoon.
Yeah, the surprising part was because he did quarter of a mile of that work after the wire, so we saw him break off at the half-mile pole. And, you know, he looks fine. His flesh is good, as you guys pointed out earlier, but it really was designed just to be a maintenance move, and the fact that he continued willingly past the wire was encouraging, Tom.
So we've seen horses that are built for speed, and this is a horse that's built for stamina in Tone List. Showed it by winning the Belmont, of course, at 1.5 miles. But when you look at him through the body and you look at his stride, it's lengthy and kind of a slower twitch stride than a lot of the sprinters have. So the 1.25 miles of the Breeders' Cup Classic is going to be right up his alley.
This is a horse they do blinkers on, blinkers off like Rhea Antonia. He might have the same sort of mindset as she does.
Yeah,
Could very well be.
And like you say, his physique, very different. Long, lean, a little leggy, not built compact and short coupled like a sprinter. So we like Tone List workout this morning.
That was in New York, but as we said, there's horses coming from all over the world to the Breeders' Cup. Simon tells us more.
Yeah, and of the 201 pre-entries this year, 38 are represented by foreign interests. So a good contingent coming from overseas, making that journey halfway around the world. We're represented by 7 countries this year, and we're going to take a look at the 5 top countries, starting with Canada, the Silks of Conquest stables. Conquest Typhoon will be going in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf off a nice win in the Summer Stakes. Ireland, we got lots of representation there from Magician, one of 5 returning winners from last year's Breeders' Cup. He won the Turf, of course, looking to make it back-to-back. And then we'll go to France. They've got a strong powerhouse this year. Flintshire in the Silks of Jubmont Farm, second in the Arc. 9 horses have run in the Arc and gone on to win the Breeders' Cup Turf. And you'll recognize these Silks as well from Goldacova, 3-time winner of the Breeders' Cup Mile. Those are Silks of Wertheimer and Frere. They'll be represented by Anadin, a full brother to Goldacova. Hong Kong for the first time with a legitimate runner. Rich Tapestry, winner of the local Santa Anita Sprint Championship, will go in the sprint. And then to the UK, on the outside, we've got a strong representation of Dank, who's looking to make it back-to-back wins in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. Telescope for Sir Michael Stout. He's looking to win his 5th Breeders' Cup Turf. And then finally, on the outside, Toronado for Al Shakab Racing will go in the Breeders' Cup Mile. A very deep and contentious international group, including a horse from Chile in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and Peru represented in the Breeders' Cup Distaff for the first time.
And for all the latest information surrounding the Breeders' Cup and horses from all over the world, you'll find it here on The Works. Our show's coming up Sunday, October 26th, Monday, October 27th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm Todd Schrupp for The Works on TVG.